Hi guys, how are you?
Cool.
Hi, how's it going?
Doing great. I brought this up in the other interview and now it's in my head. So I, as a kid, and by kid I was like 16 or 17, watched Supernatural and was like, "Oh, I want an Impala." And my dad had to explain power steering to me because I didn't know that I'm 5'2", physically couldn't turn the car.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you guys like a car that you wanted that you were like your parents were like, "You can't have that car, that's impossible," when you guys were kids? And did you get to live out that dream now in a show like this with so many cool cars?
Honestly, any car I ever wanted, I was more into like old weird cars. Any car that I ever wanted, I always bought it. Whether it was really messed up, sorry, whether it was
That's
really
fine, I
messed
don't
up
care.
or if it was really clean, I always bought like weird, interesting vehicles.
Yeah, I came from a family that dream cars weren't a realistic expectation. So my first car was a Hyundai XL that I bought with my own money from working at the grocery store and at the restaurant. So yeah, my dream cars were kind of like too difficult to reach for me.
Listen, I get it. I had a Toyota Echo that was I live in New York now, so I don't have a car. That was my one
Yeah,
car. It got rear-ended, and then the people who fixed it didn't know that Echo is spelled ECHO because they in Spanish the H is silent. So
yeah,
it said Hecko, and I just left it. So
yeah.
it's a Hecko.
That's
The rest of
that's
my
great. That's
adult life.
great. That's so funny.
Um, I love the soundtrack to this show, which Ryan, you're in movies with in shows with great soundtracks. When you are in something like this, first I thought it was a period piece because I heard Fall Out Boy right out the gate, and then realized no, it's just good music. Was there like a song or something that you were shocked the show got, or do you want the show to eventually play some song of your choosing?
Hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, I think there is a Zach Bryan song in the
I
show.
think
I
so.
think
Yeah.
so. And I was listening to a lot of him during the making of the series. Music is so crucial to the flow and to the energy of a show, especially when you're dealing with young people. And so those cues are they enhance every scene that they're in. Um, and it's cool to see the range that they're choosing musically. It's kind of all different genres, and that keeps it interesting.
Yeah, and I was gonna talk about like the show, like the genre, because I do think when you have a teen show, which Michael, I know you've been on a very successful, lovely teen show, but a lot of the times it's about like interpersonal relationships or just high school itself or whatever it is. So then to have this where it's like, and now we go race cars was such a fun like mixing of genres, especially because I love Fast and the Furious and teen drama. Uh, how was it kind of building that kind of the mixture of those two genres together and making it as grounded as possible when at night these teenagers are like, yeah, we're gonna go drag racing in the middle of the night.
I mean, honestly, I feel like it's such a testament to Johnny Norris, our showrunner. Like, I feel like this is a show that could have kind of only been made like today. Like this, it's like such a blending of so many different genres.
Mm.
There's like this mystery kind of like element to it. There's like this really exciting, racing element, and then there's also like the teen story about it all. And I feel like it is kind of like such a blending of like so many different genres, which makes it very universal. And I feel like all the characters are very nuanced and layered, and like that's what makes it fun. It's like it's just a fun show, and it's like so its own thing, which is really exciting. But yeah, like I think it was really exciting as an actor to kind of like be part of something that felt so different, you know?
Yeah, and I think that the car and the racing aspect of it sort of sets us apart in some ways, but also you've got all of the coming of age moments that you're looking for in terms of first loves and interpersonal dynamics amongst young people. There's a thread of humor throughout the show, and like Michael said, mystery, and it also hits those heartwarming moments too. Like you feel very protective of the Marcel character, and
Mm.
you want to see Caitlin and Zach find their way in this new town and kind of rediscover who they are and what their past and who their father was. So yeah, I think it's really multifaceted that way.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I have to ask because this is very funny, Ryan. So I'm from Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
And so when I saw that you were from Newcastle, Delaware, I was like, well, close, but not
Yeah,
really.
no, very close.
How when you guys are part of a show that is set in Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is so weirdly specific as a
Mhm.
place, was there anything you guys learned about Pennsylvania through this process? Even though, like, I know you guys weren't filming there, but it is the setting of the show as a whole.
I mean, I spent a couple days in Pittsburgh before we started shooting, just to kind of get a sense of how people talked and, some of the
It
local
is bad.
slang. Well, yeah,
It's
it's
an
different. And so throughout the season, I try to incorporate a little bit of that.
accent.
Um, but I was pretty familiar with it, like you said, growing up in the state and having family all over Pennsylvania. So for me, it was kind of familiar territory.
And for I'd never been to Pennsylvania before, but like I had a lot of weirdly a lot of Puerto Ricans that like came from New York, wound up moving to Pennsylvania. So like a lot of my family like lived in Pennsylvania for some period of time and whatever else. So like I was kind of like familiar with like kind of the lifestyle. I never got to go, but I'm kind of familiar with like how the way that they kind of move and
But
everything
that's also perfect for Zach because it's new territory for him. You're a
100%.
fish out of the water.
Yeah.
There's a definite central theme to the show about finding your place and belonging. And so the fact that you haven't been there actually
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, it totally does. Yeah.
And listen, it's a crazy state. I love it very dearly, but it's weird. Um, before my time runs out, I do want to ask you, right? So I'm obsessed with Doc Odyssey, but how was it seeing your daughter and Joshua Jackson getting to do scenes together for you as, someone who's worked with Joshua Jackson and her father?
Yeah, it's so funny because I've known Josh since we were, early 20s. And so yeah, it was very funny to see her working with him, working with someone who I ran around with when we were that age. But it's cool. It's fun to see your kids achieve and to try new things and to branch out. And yeah, but that was very nostalgic for me.
It was nostalgic for me, and I was like, I'm born in 91, so I'm a little bit of a baby of the 90s, but I was like, no, I don't, I'm old. I don't like this. I don't like seeing this and feeling this. But for a last question, it is so exciting when shows kind of get released into the wild and you see how people interact with it. What are you the most excited about now that audiences are going to get to take in Motorheads themselves and interact with it on their own?
I mean, I hope that this is a show that like inspires like the next generation of car enthusiasts. You know what I mean? Like I've been an enthusiast since I was a kid. And so like I think it'd just be so cool to inspire like a new generation of that and kind of get people really excited about the hobby again. Because I feel like in recent years a lot of people have kind of like drifted away from it. So I would really love to like see like a resurgence of that a little bit.
And to me, it's like the perfect coming of age summer show. It hits all the moments. It's got this infectious, youthful energy. It's got humor. It's got heart, certainly. And it's the kind of show that families could watch together, which I don't think there's a ton of these days. I feel that's my hope for this is that teenagers and their parents will sit down and watch this together and have a good time.
Yeah, I think they will. I think it's so much fun. I love both of your careers so much. This is an honor to talk to both of you, and thank you so much.
Thanks.
Can't wait for everyone else to see the show.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
And bye.